let's talk about the Braaap. I'm going to do this video in tandem with a video of the Ripper, which will come out in about another week. I think these are the two boats that you guys are going to be looking at the most until the next cool free ride boat comes on the market. So hit subscribe, check right here for a link, and yeah. So the Braaap. The Braaap was designed by Pat Keller for Liquidlogic Kayaks. It is bringing to the future a lot of the things that we loved about the Dagger RPM, which came out in the 90s, and for a very, very long time held the title as the most sold whitewater boat of all time. There was something like 8 to 13 molds around the world rolling all the time, pumping these things out for a very, very long period of time. I think the next boat that took the title was a 2010 All-Star, but I could be wrong about that. Now, one thing, if I put up an image of an RPM, if you look at the rocker profile to this boat, you'll notice something pretty quickly. There almost is none. The bottom's incredibly flat, and it has, if you can look end to end down one, a very round profile widthwise. Now, by comparison, if I put up a Braaap, it has a ton of rocker. It almost looks like a banana if you get one in yellow. Now, this really is the most profound differences. There are a lot of other things, but a lot of this comes down to the rocker profile, the very reversed hourglass, as in very pointy on the ends, but much more volume at the knees of the Braaap, and then also the kick rocker that Pat Keller put into this design. For the uninitiated, kick rocker means that right behind the paddler's seat, right about where the rear foam pillar ends, there is a pronounced ridge that goes across the boat, and basically the flat area underneath the seat suddenly breaks to a very aggressive stern rocker. And that is something which comes from slalom, and what it really allows you to do is play with how the boat paddles based on your body position and weight distribution in the boat. So if you get just the right spot in this boat and really get to know it, you can do some amazing things and really control what the boat's doing based on a little bit of a back lean, sucking your nose up, stuff like that, which makes this one of the most fun things to go and shred around in, which is where the name comes from. Braaap Braaap. It really is like taking a dirt bike down trails, running this boat around. On the flip side, if you just rush to get out in the water and you don't play with your trim, you aren't willing to adjust whatever you need to adjust to get yourself balanced just right on this tipping point, you will see dramatic performance decreases in the Braaap. So it's absolutely worth taking your time if you own one. If you're just demoing one, it's worth shimmying around a bit, maybe cramming yourself a little bit further forward, sliding yourself as far back as you go. Try to find that tipping point, because you may have a completely different impression on it based on whether you're on the tipping point versus off one way or the other. As far as the rest of the hull profile, one of the things that you'll notice is that it is a very displacement-based hull. Every angle on the bottom of the boat is shedding rocks and water away. And what that winds up meaning is that the paddler has to also carve a lot to get this boat where it wants to go. And if you're not giving it what it wants, it can start to become squirrely. Now, that may sound like I'm knocking the boat, and I want to be very clear. I am not. I love this, because what I do is I pretty much exclusively run my creeker during my spring season when I'm running more aggressive stuff that can, dish out a whooping. And then in the summer, when my options kind of dry out and I'm running the same creeks and rivers a lot more, out comes the Braaap. It makes my season incredibly enjoyable. I have a very, very good time learning new things on the same runs. And by the time the fall season comes around, I just feel so dialed going back in that creek boat, because I have been working so hard on, my leaning front to back, my edging, sucking my knees up, my boofs, all of that stuff on such a tighter level with the Braaap, because everything has to be perfect when you paddle it to get that true performance out of it. So I absolutely love paddling this boat. There are, however, things that I am going to knock about it. Many people may know that there was an episode where the Sick Line race ejected the Braaap the same year, the year after it came out. This was a really controversial call at the time, but I want to be very clear that there is a safety concern with the Braaap. The issue that I have with this boat is that there are only 2 grab handles, and they are located very poorly. This is a boat that is tempting to be used as a safety boat for, people in the guiding industry. Don't do it. It is very hard for a swimmer to grab one of your grab handles. It's annoying just to drag the boat around with these grab handles. And frankly, if you got pinned, your ability to clip into one is severely reduced compared to any other boat in this category. The other serious disadvantage that the Braaap has is that there's only one Braaap mold. There is a Party Braaap and a Braaap, the Braaap being the original model, where then they decided, hey, there's too much stern volume to really make this thing a play machine. We need to decrease the stern volume. Let's put sandbags on it after it comes out of the mold and it's still hot and flexible to crush in the bottom a little bit. But ultimately, they come out of the same mold, so you're looking at the same size. Whereas any other boat in this niche in the market has 3 sizes, small, medium, and a large. So either you can make this boat work for you or you can't. And I think that's really unfortunate, but that's where we are. That said, it's still an excellent boat. You've got excellent outfitting. I mean, sorry, Pyranha, but it's better than Pyranha outfitting. And I really would suggest taking this and giving it a rip. What's the sweet spot going to be? What's the deciding factor for this boat going to be over all of the other boats in this category? I think it comes back to that displacement hull. You have got something which loves bouncing off rocks. And if that's what you're going to do with it, you probably are, this is the boat for you. If you're going to be in deeper water where you'd rather have edges, go look at everything else in the field. This is not going to be as great in big water. It's still very good. You'll see a lot of guys in Quebec Connection and stuff who run insanely high water doing it all in Braaps, but you'd probably benefit from having edges. Same way if you took a Nomad versus a Mamba or something like that. But check these out. I'm sorry I didn't have more B-reel for this one, but the Ripper will be coming out soon. See you later.